morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? I hope that you can. It's great to have you here with me. My name is Tavi Jinariu, and I'm here with EliteGuitarist.com. Today, I want to keep it sort of open form. I'm going to be monitoring later on the question and answer time. There will be an opportunity later on to ask some questions. I won't be able to monitor the questions while I play, obviously, but when we get to that specific section, feel free to ask a question and I'll try my best to answer it. It's great to have you here. I'm going to share some things that I have in my heart to share with you, and I also want to play for you. So would it be okay if we just start with a piece? This is a piece, it's entitled Wild Mountain Time. And after I graduated college, I actually stopped playing the guitar for a number of years due to some very practical reasons, and didn't touch the guitar much for about 8 years or so. And this is one of those pieces that really spoke to me, and I incorporated this in my repertoire early on, around the time I was 30 or so. And it is a wonderful, lovely piece arranged by Scott Tennant. I kind of stuck my finger in it a little bit, but I hope you enjoy this piece, and then we'll get started with other stuff that I have on the agenda. So I want to start by playing this Wild Mountain Time, Scottish traditional, and here it is. That was Wild Mountain Time by arranged by Scott Tennant. It's a traditional Scottish, and I am playing all these pieces today primarily on this guitar that I got from the Guitar Salon International. The Guitar Salon International has been a tremendous friend to me personally and to the Elite Guitarist platform, and they loaned me this guitar to record a tutorial of Antonio Lauro's Natalia Waltz. And I was just so impressed with this guitar. It is a guitar made by Jake Fuller Purnell. It's a wonderful guitar made out of cherry wood, and it looks very much like cypress, but it has beautiful clarity and just enough of everything. It is the quintessential Granada type sound of the guitar, and this is one of those instruments that I just love to play. It's easy to play, and I wanted to play for today's session. Maybe in a different day I'll play a different guitar. So I'm gonna put my guitar down here, and I just want to say a couple of things that I have been thinking lately. I've been reading this phenomenal book, and it is a book that is applicable to all kinds of situations, whether it's business, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's just personal development. And the book is entitled The Compound Effect, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And in this book, Darren Hardy says that if you want to accomplish anything worthwhile, it will take work. Not necessarily a lot of work, but consistent work over time. He argues that if somebody were to offer you, $3 million or 1 penny a day that doubles in value, which one would you choose? Most of us will likely pick the $3 million, but it turns out that over a period of time, you are going to be much better off just collecting 1 penny and allowing that penny to double in value every day. And that is really at the heart of what it means to have this compound effect. And when it comes to classical guitar, many times students ask me, what is really the recipe for success? And people are worried about their fingers, about the length or the lack of length of their fingers, their fingernail shapes. They're worried about their natural ability. How much of it do I have? How much don't I have? That's really, I think, beside the point. It's really not about that. I have seen folks with maybe medium level natural ability do far better than those who are extremely gifted and guitar comes intuitively to them. For the simple reason that they stayed with it on a consistent basis, day after day, a little at a time, eating the elephant one bite at a time. And you're all aware with the illustration of the tortoise and the hare. They go and they race. Eventually the tortoise wins the race because the tortoise takes one step in front of the other and is committed to just running the race, whereas the hare just relies on his speed and ability to win the race, eyes closed. So I want to use this illustration as an encouragement to you. You may not be able to see progress from day to day. And sometimes you may not be able to see progress from month to month. There are some times when we engage with the guitar and work really hard, and yet we develop these plateau levels. When that's the case, stay with it. It is that ability to stay with your guitar and press into the instrument and press on with your journey that will actually have this compound effect. You develop resiliency, you develop excellent default settings, and so don't give up, don't lose heart, stay with the instrument. Everything will eventually have to open up to you. You will eventually be able to play the things that you want to play if you just do it rightly with intelligence. Practice diligently, be patient with yourself, and don't allow frustration and the desire of short-term gains to cloud your long-term process. As I talk to various people, business folks, it's often really obvious to me that none of them got successful or wealthy overnight. I have never met anybody who won the lottery, because that's really not the way to become successful and do well in life. But it's that attitude, that stubborn attitude that diligent attitude that stays with a certain task day after day and thinks long term rather than short term gains. So, I hope this is encouraging to you. I hope this is helpful to you. I'm going to play a couple more pieces if that's okay. I realize that time is going by really fast and I want to be respectful of your time as well. But let me play a couple more pieces for you and then we'll take some questions and I'll try to do some answers if you want. As I advertised for this live stream session, I said bring your questions on classical guitar, technique, repertoire, pedagogy, and the meaning of life in general. Feel free to ask questions. You may not get satisfactory answers on the meaning of life. But let me play some more for you. And this next piece... Okay, this next piece is entitled Rumores de la Caleta. It is a piece written for the piano originally and transcribed for the guitar by Christopher Parkning. I had some improvements or maybe some alterations to that original transcription, but it is a lovely piece. It's a Malagueña type. It is full of life and it is quintessentially Spanish. In fact, we are just wrapping up the editing for a tutorial on this piece, and I hope you'll tackle this piece. It's not as difficult as it may seem. So this is Rumores de la Caleta by Isaac Albeniz. That was Rumores de la Caleta by Isaac Albeniz. I would like to play another piece because it's really hard to talk and then play, and since the fingers are starting to warm up a little bit. This is a very melancholic piece. It's called Preludio de Dios by Alfonso Montes. In fact, if you have the chance, if you are a subscriber to the EliteGuitarist platform, many of you know that the sheet music was out of print, has been out of print for years, and it has been very difficult to locate the sheet music. Well, I just want to let you know that Alfonso Montes, who's a wonderful human being, he was gracious enough to say, just go ahead and duplicate the music and share it with your students. And so we're all enjoying the gift of Alfonso Montes to the EliteGuitarist community. So if you're hearing this, Mr. Montes, thank you so much for being so generous to our students. It's benefiting us and it's enriching many lives. And this is a wonderful composition, Preludio de Dios by Alfonso Montes. That was Preludio de Dios by Alfonso Montes. Okay, I'll set my guitar down here. I would like us now to maybe have a time of question and answer. So I'm going to be monitoring the live chat here on the website. I see some folks all over the country, and not only folks from Europe as well, from Canada. Sarah Welsh from the UK. Rose says hi. Hi, Rose. Rose is an 8-year-old sweet little girl who loves the classical guitar so much. She just enjoys the instrument, and out of all the pieces that she could tackle, she started playing Asturias, Leyenda by Isaac Albeniz. So hi, Rose, keep it up. All right, so we have a few questions here. I do have a difficult question on bar chords. Okay, what's the difficult question, Mirko? I would imagine that you have a difficulty with some bar chords. There are some things that you could do to experiment. Eventually, there is a certain amount of force and pressure that you need to put on a bar chord in order to make it ring well. However, if you find out that as you put together a bar chord shape and some of the notes, for example, the second string, if it rings kind of muted or buzzy, you may want to experiment with the height of the bar finger, of the barré finger. Sometimes elevating, making the finger a little bit higher could help with the bar chords. Also, in the back of the thumb, try not to place, let's see, the camera is not focusing. Okay, try not to do this where you are actually pressing against the guitar with the soft part of your thumb, but use that joint there, or do a little bit of a using the joint actually gives you more leverage and more power and is not as taxing on your thumb muscle here. Okay, I hope that's helpful. We could probably do a longer session on that in the future. All right, I'm gonna go back here and try to deal with some of these other questions. Robert Lamb, what are your favorite exercises for right hand speed and left hand coordination? Thank you, Robert. Actually, I have a tutorial coming up in the next few weeks on the EliteGuitarist, but this is a chromatic exercise that I learned from Antonio Rey. It goes something like this. It's a fantastic exercise. I'll have a detailed explanation of this exercise, but it's a great technique builder, and it really connects right and left hand. Also, one of the added benefits is that when you change strings, you're going to be able to change strings equally as comfortably with I or M. Stay tuned for some more details on that. All right, Adriana Nino says, the note that is open, then pluck, how does it look written down? The note that is open, then pluck. I'm not sure what that means, Adriana, but in a music notation, you'd have a 0 over that note because it's open. I'm not sure I understand the question. Federico from Italy, could you give us some advice on technique practice routine? What do you think are the most important aspects to focus on? I think it's great to work on technique and develop technique. However, always think about technique as being a tool. It is always subservient to musicality and expression. So rather than working on artificial technical studies that are only developing dexterity or potential ability on the guitar, take the most challenging passages of the pieces that you're working on and turn those into exercises. For example, in this Rumores de la Caleta, this run. That's a pretty challenging passage. You would take that and you would work on hammer-ons and pull-offs. And there's just half of the run. So now you have taken that run and transformed it into an actual study, into an actual exercise, which is a wonderful way to build technique and actually make sense of some of these challenging portions. Take everything slowly, use a metronome. Oh goodness, this torture device right here is called a metronome, and as musicians we have a love-hate relationship with the metronome, but use the metronomes, take it slowly. If you're not able to really play it slowly with accuracy, you'll never come out fast and accurate in a concert situation. In fact, if you know of Christopher Parkning's method of practicing technique, his father made him, as a child, play every single passage, no matter how difficult it was, at performance speed, at performance tempo, 7 times in a row. If he couldn't do it in the practice room 7 times in a row without any issues whatsoever, whether those are musical issues, technical issues, or internal confidence issues, he wouldn't be able to play it really in the in a live performance. So make your own technique exercises that really serve the specific needs of the repertoire you're working on. I have some exercises. I love the Etude number 1 by Villalobos for right hand, being able to accent different notes within that arpeggio. I like tremolo exercises for the right hand. I like hammer-ons and pull-off exercises for the left hand, and I will upload some of these stuff on the EliteGuitarist. I've already recorded them. We're in the editing stages. All right, let's move on. How do you practice to have a wide range of dynamics, tone, and velocity in a longer piece? This is a question from Thorsten Bauer. Thorsten, how do you practice to have a wide range of dynamics? I would say to you, do not think of dynamics and musicality as a subsequent step to you learning the piece. It is true that in the beginning you are trying to figure out the notes, you're trying to kind of get the fingers on the right fret, on the right string, and so that takes priority. However, do not postpone musicality and dynamics for later on, because really when you think about dynamics and musicality, feeling or expression really is conveyed through technique. So embed in your default setting also not just the notes that you play, but the way you play them, whether you're using a rest stroke or a free stroke, whether you're using a gutsy, powerful rest stroke or a soft rest stroke, whether you're slicing the string or you want to give a more generic feel to that particular note. Embed all that in your practice routine so that when you're nervous, you don't have to think, oh, I should have more musicality right now. When you play it, it comes out musical because it's already burned into your actual muscle memory. Thank you for your question. It's a great question. Okay, Todd Backhawk, how many pieces of new music do you work on at once? I'm working on maybe 10 new pieces now. Would it be more effective to completely learn and memorize one piece before starting the next one? Todd, I think that's too much. I work on a couple of new pieces at a time. When I was a boy, you know, my dad, if I killed a bug or something, or my dad says, hey, if you kill it, you eat it. So that really helped me exercise some restraint there. But I would say this, it's such a danger to work on too many things at the same time. Our peripheral vision then constantly gets distracted. We're constantly playing, but working on too many pieces and not getting any single piece done well. So I would say this, as you practice, work on 1 or 2 pieces at a time. get it to a point where technically is there 95, 96%, whatever, and then put it on the back burner as you work on a new one and continue to polish that older piece now. But 10 pieces is way too much. In fact, I can't remember the time when I played through 10 pieces in a day unless I play a concert. My practice actually focuses more narrowly on a few pieces. I chop them up into smaller sections and really solve problems and try to get those pieces at a level of proficiency that's satisfactory. Otherwise, I get easily distracted, and I work hard, but then I don't get anything done because I'm trying to chew on too much at the same time. Our brains need time to process information too. We sleep and our brains continue to process. When we wake up in the morning and we come back to the practice room, we realize that there is some regression. It could be really discouraging when you're handling 10 pieces. I think that's a little too much. Just buckle down and focus on maybe fewer pieces at a time. Charles is asking, do you use hard or medium tension string, carbon on second and third? Yes, no. Each guitar is different, and I think you have to match it with the right tension strings. For example, I have a Ramirez guitar, a 1967. It's a fantastic guitar, but even medium tension strings feel too tight on the guitar. So for that particular guitar, I may go to actually low tension strings. I have some guitars that I use extra hard tension strings and they feel right. So you have to really know your guitar and how it responds. I generally use carbon strings, especially on the third string is a little bit more muffled in sound. But also I would match the guitar to the type of strings that you're using. If you have a very bright guitar, I would use traditional nylon strings. And I use Knobloch strings. It's a fantastic company. And if anybody's interested in Knobloch strings, just contacted me and we'll get you hooked up with some better pricing on those strings. But if I have a bright sounding guitar, dark nylon. If I have kind of a medium guitar like this one, this is a very transparent, this Jake Fuller guitar, and I use Knobloch QZ nylon. It's a transitional type of strings between carbon and traditional nylons. If I have a really dark sounding guitar like that, the Ramirez for example, I use carbon strings all around. Okay, what is your warm-up routine? Paul is asking. I do this chromatic exercise that I showed you just a few minutes ago. I do the Villa-Lobos right-hand arpeggio, and I don't go through the entire etude most of the times. I just want to get the fingers to get used to the guitar again. I do some hammer-on and pull-off exercises, and then use some pieces at a slower tempo to warm up the fingers as well. I try not to spend too much time on warm-up. Many times we spend so much focus and time on the warm-up that we're worn out, we're exhausted by the time we come to actually getting any work done. So, you know, that's just warm-up, is not performance. Rushain Fernando is asking, do we need to use guitar rest or a footstool for classical guitar? Man, I would say do whatever works for you. There is not one answer that fits all sizes, because guess what? We're all of different sizes. We all have different physiologies in our bodies, and I would say use whatever works for you. I would personally advise against using a footstool. It's just not an ergonomic position, and chiropractors and physical therapists and physicians will tell you that the way your spine is aligned, the contorted back. And I know some people do it, and they do it successfully, and they're fine. I also know that a great deal of guitarists develop massive back injuries, and they could be career-ending injuries. So use a guitar support if you can. If you insist on using a footstool and stepping in the footsteps of Andres Segovia, use it on the right leg. That's a little bit more ergonomic position. So, okay. Khaled, do you still work on the Bach Chaconne? If so, how is it going? Yeah, the Bach Chaconne is a lifetime project. I haven't played it in about 20 years. I played it in my senior recital in college, and I'm coming back to it. Things have been a little tight in time-wise in the last few weeks. But yeah, that's a piece that I want to eventually record. It's a piece that keeps on giving, and it's a piece that the more you continue to peel off the layers, the more you find more things in that piece. It's a fantastic piece. Elliot is asking, what is the piece that you played in the trailer for the live stream? That piece is entitled Torija. It's from Toroba's Castles of Spain. It's one of the movements there. Jack is asking, should I try to perfect a song before moving on to a new song? You should try to get a song pretty solidly in your fingers. Maybe work on a couple of them at the same time. I already kind of answered this question, but I think what we want to stay away from is just starting a lot of things and getting them done at 50%. I think it's better to do fewer things, but do them well, and solidify them, and before moving on to a new section. Okay, let's see here. Do you file? This is Christopher is asking. Do you file your saddles at the bridge to adjust intonation? I sometimes find sour sharp notes higher up the fret. Christopher, I'm just not a luthier or a repairman, and I don't really know how to do that. The most I did is to file down the saddle to lower the action. But in terms of intonation, there's different ways to do that. There are also different strings that behave more, that are better in terms of intonation than other strings. Also, the way your frets are cut, sometimes the frets could affect the intonation if they're uneven. What do I know? I would say take your guitar to a repairman, somebody who knows what they're doing, and just see what they say. Mirko is, let's see, I'm not sure that that's a question. He's talking about Lobos, Villalobos Etude number 2, second part. Actually, we are almost done with the editing for this one as well. Our friend Thomas Fechner, we call him Tomek, he goes by Tomek. He just recorded a tutorial of this piece. It's a fantastic tutorial. We'll upload it in the next month or so. Hamid says it's his first time. Presentation was beautiful and the discussion very good for advanced players. Do you have any live stream for beginners? Hamid, I will say this. These live streams are not as much an opportunity to teach specific skills. When I interact with other musicians, there is so much value in being around people who are like-minded, people who are passionate. I get so inspired to hear other guitarists who work hard and they do a good job, and to me that is actually a great benefit. It is really a means of sustaining and preserving enthusiasm to do that. And so you may not be able to get any specific things that will teach you how to pluck a string. For that, I would encourage you to go to our tutorials. We have a beginning technique package, an intermediate technique package on the EliteGuitarist platform. You'll be able to do that at your own pace, but these live streams are really meant to inspire, to encourage, to just expand your horizons, to teach, to give you perspective. And as you hang out with people that we're going to have as guests to these live streams, you're gonna see yourself being pulled up. So these are not necessarily opportunities to teach any specific skills for beginners or for advanced, as a matter of fact. It's more, let's gather around, let's have some community time, interact with one another, listen to some music, play some music, answer some questions, look at some guitars, and so on. Okay, let's see here. We have a lot of questions. I thank you for your questions. Maureen, stay tuned for these warm-up routines. I recorded them. We're gonna upload them. We have a lot of materials coming up this year. Mark Kism says, what would you consider are a must-learn composition for beginners with a focus on necessary techniques? I'm an experienced guitarist, but not classical approach. Mark, I would say this. Go to our tutorials and check out the beginning and intermediate technique packages. It will give you just kind of a broad scope on how to play the classical guitar, a broad view. Also, check out the 7 tips that will make your classical guitar playing better. And start with the easiest piece you could find. If you find yourself blazing through that and doing a really good job and really getting a good sound and good feeling out of that piece, then continue to move on to other more challenging piece within that beginner level repertoire section of the website. And the more you do that, the more you're gonna grow in your technical approach and ability to handle other pieces. Okay, Eric, my buddy Eric Whipple. I have to drop for a work call, but thanks for doing this. Looking forward to others. Eric, have a great day at work. Okay. Mirko says that some guitarists are not holding the bar chords fully. There's different ways to use bar chords. You could use it as a partial bar chord. You could play, 2 fingers with the I finger, for example, and that's a partial bar chord, 2 out of 6 strings. Or you could play a full bar chord and then lift the bass and use that bar chord as a hinge. It's a more involved discussion there, but Scott has a question about nails. My nails keep catching and have had to file them pretty short, but with ramps to keep fluidity in my tremolo. Nails are the constant nuisance, right, for guitarists. In fact, I don't know if you're able to see this, the camera is now focusing, but I broke my thumbnail right before the session and I had to put some super glue and some silk wrap. Check out the video that I have on nails and tone production. You'll find this in the 7 tips section of the website, and there is a long, sort of disturbing video, kind of a weird video where somebody's just videotaping me filing my nails and shaping my nails. Also, if you go to YouTube, type in William Kennengeiser nails, and Bill Kennengeiser, who teaches at USC, has this incredibly informative presentation on how to file your nails and how to produce the best tone possible with these oversized strings. I mean, we're talking these big ropes, right? And these makeshift nails that he's actually demonstrating how to plug, and it's hilarious but incredibly helpful. So check it out. Let's see here. Helen, what do you recommend for right-hand practice to clean up scratching sound coming from the finger, especially I? Check out that video that I put on 7 tips to become a better classical guitarist, and the first one is tone production. It'll give you a really close-up on how to file your nail and how to pluck so that you avoid that scratching. Suffice it to say right now that you should not plant on the flesh and then pluck with the flesh and the nail. That's a pedagogical misnomer in classical guitar, that you produce tone by a combination of flesh and nail. It's not really true. The point of contact is at the intersection of flesh and nail, but then you're only plucking and releasing the string with nail alone, no flesh. So that may help also work on removing the sharp corners on your fingers and on your fingernails, and see how it goes. Jesse, will there be more tutorials on the Carcassi studies? Yes, we have a few of them recorded. We're gonna upload them. Danielle De Leonardi says, could you suggest an exercise to separate fingers 2 and 3 of left hand? This is a question that often comes up, and that has to do with flexibility. Here is an exercise that you could do to really help flexibility on the left hand. I usually do this one as a tremolo study. So what's happening here, this is a diminished chord. I think you're hearing my dog in the background. This is a diminished chord, and I'm just moving fingers one at a time. So move finger number 1 back, pluck it, Move finger number 2, move finger number 3, finger number 4. And that right there is the most challenging one, and that creates that separation between fingers number 2 and 3. So on. Try that, Danielle, and see how it works for you. Don't go all the way down to the first fret. If that's too taxing, you don't want to injure yourself. So, okay. Edward is saying, I'm getting older and my left, especially my left hand, won't work as it used to. I misplace. I can't stretch like before. No any exercises for older hands. Edward, welcome to the club, man. I was disturbed to find... I think it's on this side, this morning, a white hair in my head. And I know some of you would be happy to just have some hair, but hey, we're all getting older, right? And our bodies don't work they used to. If you're a runner, by the time you turn 50 or 60, you can run 200 meters dash the way you used to, if you can run. So that's just part of the natural progression of our bodies, and just press on, do your best, do some of these warm-up exercises, some of these technique stretching exercises. Make sure that you warm up your hands, stretch your hands. Don't buy those spring hand exercises. I've seen so many people get injured with those. But yeah, just continue to play. And enjoy it. Edward, one of our instructors, Mircea, I interviewed him and I asked him, hey, what would you tell to people who want to pick up their guitar in their 60, but they are discouraged because they're never going to play like Segovia or Christopher Pardoning or Pepe Romero or David Russell? What would you say to them? Like, so what, There's only one Segovia. There's only one Pardoning. There's not a point. Everybody has their own journey laid out, and it's just like somebody picking up running in their 60s. It's not like they're going to be Olympic champions, They're not going to compete and they're going to become the next Usain Bolt, but they can still run and enjoy running and derive a lot of health benefits and develop community. So do your best, enjoy your guitar, enjoy these, latter years of life, these golden years, and just press on. Really, the benefit of this is not in the destination as much as it is about the journey. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy sightseeing what you discover during the journey. Okay, let's see here. We have a lot of questions. I'm not sure that I'll be able to get to all of them. Will these live sessions be available to view at a later date? Yes, we're going to archive them. I think they're helpful. You'll be able to see them on the EliteGuitarist platform. Have you tried playing classical pieces on acoustic steel string guitar? Yes. In fact, the other day I went through a stage where I just wanted to get my steel string tuned up. I'm playing steel string at the church in a couple of weeks because the church needs me to do that, and I just love the steel strings. Do you guys want to hear a steel string piece? Even if you say no, I'm not able to hear you, so I'm just gonna play anything. So here we go. And let this be known that music is music regardless. Music is music, right? Regardless of the genre. And lately I've been into this little bit of bluegrass. So you probably are not going to see me do this again, but here it is. Here's a little bluegrass piece. I heard this song by Doc Watson. If you don't know who Doc Watson is, he's kind of the father of bluegrass. and Brian Sutton played this. So this is a piece is called Shady Grove. I wasn't planning to play any steel string or anything like that, but there you have it. Classical guitarist playing steel string. Judges are gonna judge and haters gonna hate, but that's okay. So yeah, you could actually play classical music on a steel string. In fact, I don't know if you knew this, but Andrew York's famous piece Jubilation was actually first recorded and played and written for a steel string guitar. And now we play it on the nylon string because it's become very famous. That's the same title as Sunburst. But yep, there you go. Let's see here. We have more questions. Samuel says, how do you view the relationship to classical guitar and the process of grieving, healing? Let's see here. How do I lost that question. Samuel is asking, how do you view the relationship to classical guitar and the process of grieving, healing, and to a better understanding of life? Samuel, it's really difficult to actually describe that in complete detail. Music is such a subjective experience. I did receive an email from one of our students. He had lost his wife to COVID-19 after many years of marriage, and he said having picked up the classical guitar and being able to play every day has been a very cathartic process that's helped him not lose his mind really in the grieving process, and that just gives me so much joy to hear that. In general, I cannot imagine not playing music or not listening to music. Life would be so monochromatic. It's like having one ear or seeing, just not seeing colors. It would be very challenging. There's a lot that's missed in the process. It is as if one of our senses is not operating, and that makes it for a challenging way to experience life. And that doesn't mean that if there are people that are not able to taste or to see that their lives are not pleasant. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that life is enhanced when you're able to enjoy it with all your senses, and music really appeals to that sense. It appeals to the heart. It has an ennobling effect. I think it makes us better. It makes us more loving. We experience a deeper sense of emotion, and I think gives voice to those of us who may have a hard time expressing emotions in other ways. Could you please increase the sound a little more? I'm so sorry I can't. I'm actually on the verge of peaking here, but yeah, that's the situation with live streams. How do you get that dark and viscous sound? Check out that video on the 7 tips on the EliteGuitarist platform, how to get a good guitar sound. Donald is asking, what guitar strings do you use? I prefer to use knobloch strings. They are spelled Knobloch, knobloch strings. fantastic strings. The basses last forever. Some of my students have had the same strings on their guitars for 4 to 6 months, and they're still good. I know that there's a lot of questions out there. I would like to address some of this in the forum section of our website, or feel free to just ask and shoot these questions in the future for future videos. I would like to address all these, or send us an email, info@eliteguitarist.com. Maybe I'll just close this live stream with another piece. Somebody asked about that piece, Torija by Federico Moreno Torba. And before I do that, I also want to invite you to be part of the next live stream on May 12th. We're going to have one on May 12th, also one on May 14th on the jazz guitar track. But on May the 12th, my friend David Caleta, who's the president of the Guitar Salon International, is going to come here in my home studio, intimate setting, no agenda, no plan, but we're going to talk guitars. So if you have any questions about guitars, luthiers, he's going to give you an idea of what's out there. If anybody knows guitars, it is David. Not just the guitars that are available today and they're being made today, but the history of guitars. And feel free to ask any kind of personal questions about guitar builders or performers. David has a treasure chest of anecdotes and stories that will just knock your socks off. Thank you all for being part of this live stream. Have a great rest of the day. Stay inspired, stay motivated. I'll see you on May the 12th at 10 o'clock in the morning.